Greetings. This is Jewel Master 1162 with another episode of Dropping Jewels. Today's jewel is a very special one as I try to make all of them. Today's jewel is contemplate yourself surrounded by the people and circumstances that you desire. Did it go over your head? Let me repeat myself. Contemplate yourself surrounded by the people and circumstances that you desire. All right, let's break it down. Contemplate, to dwell on, to think about, to consider, to picture, to imagine. A lot of times you'll hear the word visualize. Now, it doesn't have to be visual. You may be more attuned to some of your other senses. So when you remember something, what causes the most emotional reaction in you? Is it a sound you heard? Is it a taste? Is it a feeling? What is it about you that causes the emotion? See, by learning your triggers, you learn to control your emotions or when you get excited about something or when you can stop yourself from getting excited about something. So in this case, you want to look for something that causes a stronger emotional reaction. Contemplate yourself surrounded by the people and circumstances that you desire. What does that mean? Imagine yourself in those circumstances enjoying it fully. For those of you who are Bible students, you've heard the expression, believe as if you have received. Well, all that means is that you feel first, and then you have a reaction off of what you're feeling. Usually we work the other way around, or as the older people say, we put the cart before the horse. We said, as soon as I have this thing, I'll feel better. As soon as I have the right person in my life, I'll feel better. As soon as I have the right car, the right material possession, the right money, the right house, I'll feel better. I'll feel good. But this is actually like going up to the fireplace and yelling at the fireplace, they ain't giving you no heat when you ain't put no wood and set nothing on fire. Now that would seem kind of ridiculous, wouldn't it? So here we are, we expecting to get these things to give us good feelings when it's really the other way around. It's the good feelings that sets up the vibration that attracts the things to us. Now we're going to break it down. We're going to go there a little bit today. See, when you contemplate yourself in situations that you desire, you do two things that are very powerful. One is you set off an activating system in your brain that trains you what to pay attention to. At any given moment, literally, thousands, maybe millions of things are going on around you that your senses take note of. For example, where I'm sitting now, I can feel the clothes on my arms. I can feel the seat that I'm resting on. I can feel the table that I'm leaning against. But I'm not really putting too much attention on those signals that's being sent to my brain. If somebody was to walk by right now, you would see my eyes shoot off in that direction because they would catch my attention. Because that's what my mind said was important. Usually visual cues have to be picked up on very quickly. That's why when something comes by you real fast, you look whether you want to or not. See, but the trick to this is our brain has to decide what's the important information and what's not so important. For example, if you held 5 newspaper headlines in front of me, I would probably read all 5 of them, but one of them or 2 of them would stick out to me. Why? Because of a particular interest in whatever that headline was. And that's what your brain does. It decides which things are important to bring to your conscious level of attention. Now, if a fire broke out behind me and it got unnecessarily hot, it would make sure that that got brought to my level of the conscious attention because that's something I needed to know. But we don't always deal at our conscious levels of attention. Sometimes things are below that threshold. There are things going on like right now, I'm sure, I got some socks stuck between my toes or something, but I'm really not really paying attention to that because my brain knows that, that's not really important right now. But when you contemplate yourself surrounded by the people and circumstances that you desire, you create that good feeling. And just like the pleasure center, when it's stimulated by drugs or some other good feeling, sometimes sex, sometimes having a good competitive game with some friends, sometimes having a good meal, sometimes just being around certain family members will give you that good sleepy feeling, will give you that good euphoria feeling that stimulates that pleasure center in your brain. And what happens is the pleasure center in your brain says, hey, that felt kind of good. What do we got to get to do that again? And it starts looking for things associated with whatever brought that pleasure. That's why with addicts, you can take a drug addict from just about any major city in this country and put them in another one, and they'll find the drugs because that pleasure center will look for those signals. But you can train that pleasure signal not to look for drugs, but to look for positive things. Here's an example. Let's say you contemplate yourself around having a mentor in photography. You're interested in photography. Now, when you imagine yourself being a famous photographer or being taught by this skilled photographer and learning, you can imagine all the good feelings that go with it. And your brain says, man, that felt good. Now, how can I get this feeling again? Now, when you may not consciously be paying attention, somebody else may have a newspaper or magazine and they turn the pages, or you may be reading the newspaper or magazine and you turn the pages, or you watching TV and the channels is flicking. But suddenly you hear something. What did he just say? What did she just say? Hold on, let me see that article. Something caught your attention. What's happened is, in the back of your mind, you say, whoa, 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 that's related to photography. Whoa, that's related to that positive feeling. And that's how you do it. Believe as if you have received. Have the feelings first to bring you the material thing. Contemplate yourself. See yourself, hear yourself, feel yourself in that situation, not observing it, in the situation that you desire. The other thing that does, besides teaching you how to pay attention and to teach you at different levels of consciousness what to bring to your conscious level of attention, don't let me get too far ahead of you here. What else it does is that it sets off a vibration. Now all I'm asking you to do now is observe. Have you ever seen what happens sometimes when somebody yawns, how contagious it can be, how it can spread, how suddenly everybody's yawning? Have you ever seen people get the giggle fits where a couple of people start laughing and somebody walk up and they start laughing too? They didn't even hear the joke or see what happened. And I'm sure you've seen a mob with 3 or 4 angry people was yelling and screaming. Next thing you know, it was 10 or 15. Now you got a mob scene running down the street or racing someplace to murder and create mayhem. Why? Because people feed off of other people's vibrations. Sometimes that's why you can't get along with a person and they ain't did nothing to you. Sometimes that's why you like a person and they don't deserve it. Sometimes it's the vibration they give off. What's very important is when you become clear on your design and you contemplate yourself, surrounded by the people, circumstances, and situations that you want to experience, you set up a vibration. That vibration says, this is what I want, and I'm taking action to get it. And what happens is that vibration, just like that laughter, just like that yawn, just like that insanity of anger, sets off a vibration in others. And you may not be able to see it right away, but suddenly you'll start to notice people and situations coming into your life that is advantageous to what you're trying to do. Why? Because you set off that vibration. The same way as if you had yawned. What you did was you imagined yourself in that position of success. And when you take action towards a definite goal and you have your mind made up, you will attract people and circumstances that will push you and pull you towards what it is you'll try to accomplish. Hopefully I didn't go too far over your head. Hopefully we can talk about this some more. You can email me and we can break it down. Trust me, you're going to see this being taught all over in different ways. Contemplate yourself surrounded by the people and circumstances that you desire. Feel those good feelings first. Don't wait until you have the item. This has been Jewel Master 1162. One more time. Contemplate yourself surrounded by the people, the circumstances, and the situations that you desire. Peace and blessings.